Alrighty guys, so yesterday we got the brand new Null and Void event in Tower Defense Simulator with the first night of the 3-night event being released into the game. And wow, this was a positive one. You guys know I like to be pretty critical of TDS, especially when it comes to events, but this time I have mainly positive things to say about it. The event was super fun, and overall I had an absolute blast playing it on stream with you guys. It was seriously some of the most fun I've had on this game in a while. And that is largely due to the gameplay of this event. Night 1 introduces a brand new curse mechanic to TDS, where every few waves you have to pick a curse, which is effectively a debuff and a buff for your towers at the same time, which adds a ton of replayability, as you get 3 choices for the curses every time you have to pick one, and you pick it about 4 times per game. Meaning there's so many combinations of curses you can do, and adds so much replayability and more strategy to the game. I really like what they did here. It's been a while since I've seen TDS innovate on a first night of an event. I think that is really cool. I would argue that's really something we've never seen before, and I'm really excited to see what night 2 and 3 are going to be like if this is night 1. That being said, there is one issue that I did have with this event, and that's just, I thought the boss was a little underwhelming. I thought Corrupted Commander didn't really give final boss of the night vibes. He felt a little weak, a little underwhelming in my opinion. That being said, I do really like the corrupted enemies theme of Night 1, and I'm going to get further into that later in the video, but overall I do really like the corrupted enemies. I think it really gives a aesthetic to the event, and I think it's going to be elaborated on later nights, and I'll explain that later. The other issue I had at the event was, unfortunately, there were a few bugs. The one reason I have yet to beat hard mode is purely because I've had a game-breaking bug happen on almost every single run I've done of hard mode, where either someone can't place towers or we get randomly disconnected, and overall, that's no fun. That being said, the cutscenes for this event were fantastic, and the narrative overall is just as good as the gameplay. The narrative is, the #1 thing I'm the most critical of with Tower Defense Simulator, but the narrative game has been improved in this event, ladies and gentlemen. It is really cool. First off, this event introduced brand new characters to Tower Defense Simulator, with 2X, Riftwalker, and of course, Lord Exo. Obviously, we'd heard of Lord Exo before, but this is the first time we're really actually seeing him, so I'm gonna count him as a new character, even though he's really not. An interesting parallel you can make is 2X and Exo, which seem to be parodies of 2-Time and 1x4, which are characters from Roblox lore, or if you're not super well versed on Roblox lore, they're from Forsaken, guys, come on! But not only are we getting new characters, we're actually, I believe, going to be seeing the return of Tower Defense Simulator's 2 most iconic villains, the Umbra and the Narrator. Now, I know what you're saying. Salts, Umbra and Narrator both died. We killed them both in their events. However, I'm gonna say no. First off, Umbra tells Scout to run in his dream, and I don't think this is just, oh, Scout has PTSD from Umbra. I am pretty sure Umbra is still alive and is trying to tell TDS or us, the player, something to, go figure, something we need to be running from. And then the Narrator, at the very end of the event, we can hear a laugh. And I'll play the clip for you guys, but
a dreadful night, isn't it?
That sounds like Narrator's laugh to me. And I am so excited to see him return. He is one of my favorite Tower Defense Simulator characters, which really sucked because his ending in Act 3 was not great, it was very rushed, and overall, I'm so excited to see him finally get the attention and care he deserves and needs. Now, the overall story around this event is seeming to center around the Nil Zone. The event name is Null and Void, after all, and the Nil Zone is something we don't really know much about yet. We know that it is some form of alternate dimension, and that's where the creatures are attacking us from in part 1 of the event. Now, the Nil Zone duplicates and reflects dark versions of towers from the game back at us. That is why we fight Corrupted Commander, that is why we fight Null Scout, that is why we fight Null Crook Boss. And so it's my theory that Umbra and Narrator may be resurrected through the Nil Zone. This may be where they're coming from. I have a theory that Nil Zone is almost like a purgatory of TDS, an alternate dimension where souls of the dead are trapped. This can even be supported by the fact that Umbra, whenever she dies in Solar Eclipse, she fades out into another dimension. She doesn't really die, but she screams as she is torn into another world. I believe the Nil Zone is something like Zen from the Half-Life series, where it is an alternate dimension with native populations However, it is also a border world where interdimensional portal travelers can end up very easily. And overall, I think what we're going to be seeing here is two villains that were seemingly lost in other dimensions, whether, you know, Umbra, whenever she fades out, or Narrator being sent there by Exo. I believe we are going to go into the Nil Zone, and we are going to find Umbra and Narrator, and we are going to be fighting corrupted versions of ourselves and enemies from Tower Defense Simulator's past. But hey, that's just my theory. I'm kind of spitballing here. I'm so excited for this event. And overall, I'm really hoping that they do not drop the ball on this, because right now they are doing extremely well, and I'm so excited to see what's happening in the rest of this event. But let me know what y'all think of the event in the comments below. Join that Discord in the description if you're extra cool. And you guys, I actually made a ROBLOX group, the official Salt's ROBLOX group. I'll throw that in the description as well. So if you want to join that, we're going to be doing all sorts of cool stuff with that. But like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more Salts. And as always, and most importantly, make stuff you're proud of.
Strength in numbers! I guess.